All right, we just saw Project Almanac, and on this show I take my friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler-free, so if you're looking for a recommendation and don't want to have spoilers, you can watch the first part and find out if we recommend it. If you don't care about spoilers, or you've seen the movie and just want to know everything we thought, watch the whole thing. We'll let you know when that second part of the discussion starts. So, Project Almanac is a found footage style movie about some kids that come across plans for a time machine, and they make it, and they go back in time, and shenanigans ensue. They start having problems with paradoxes, they start having problems with things that they do to try and solve things, make things worse. It's a very, very tired plot that we've seen a lot of times before. And in this particular movie's case, it's not done very well. There's issues with, I mean, obviously, if you're not a fan of the handheld style, you know, it's not shaky cam, but it's the handheld style POV. It's not shot to look like it was shot on the equipment that they are pretending to be using. Like, GoPros don't shoot that well. They don't shoot in 4K, but it's that style where they're pretending that it's the camera that they're wearing around their neck that's taking all the pictures, and it moves around and jerks around. If that bothers you right off the bat, no, don't see this movie. The time travel aspect of it seemed to me like it took forever for them to get through Act 1, where they actually get the thing built and get going. And then the main character, who has been very smart the entire time, is the one that figured out everything, starts making really stupid, selfish decisions, and becomes unlikable, becomes unsympathetic, and you spend the rest of the movie just going, I don't really care what happens to you anymore. And I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about any of the characters. The fact that, you know, they could go back and rewrite big sections of the movie over again made it really hard to get invested at all in any of what's going on. The central relationship of the movie is really awkward, manipulative, and it's more of like a, you know, here's what not to do if you have a time machine. So I didn't like it, and we saw it in like the second or third largest screen here, massive screen. There were probably 10 people. I don't think this is going to be a big hit or anything, but I certainly wouldn't recommend it to anyone. What do you guys think?
I personally didn't like the movie. I don't like movies that are, like you said, shot firsthand. It was too shaky for me. It was kind of like watching a video game play out, a first-person shooter or something like that. I didn't like it. It was too, made me nauseous. I felt like it was a typical, you do this, you do that, oh, let's go back and try to fix it type of deal we've seen over and over again, and it's just, I don't know, it's definitely not something that's going to grab me. I felt like the previews for the movie looked a lot better than the actual movie. Like, I was like, oh, they're going to do it, and it's going to be better, or they're going to not mess it up. It's not going to be Back to the Future, but I don't know.
And it's not even as compelling as Back to the Future. I mean, there's like a Muppet Babies plot in there, and that's about as much as it has.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but I would.
But Aaron did, so what'd you think?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was, I thought, a good movie. I thought the character actually played his part very well.
Well, the performance was good.
Well, the performance was great, but I've known people like that, and they tend to make very selfish decisions. It made sense to me, and as such, I enjoyed it more than both of you. Would I recommend it in theaters? No, not unless you were a huge Blair Witch fan. The shaky...
I wouldn't even compare it to the Blair Witch. Like, it's a completely different genre.
The shaky cam is what I'm getting at.
It's closer to like the other one we were talking about before.
Chronicle. The shaky cam can get pretty bad in certain parts. I didn't think it was quite offensive with it as other movies that have been around, but yeah, it can still make you nauseous on that big a scale. I thought they had some really cool special effects. My big problem with the movie was the consequences that come about. They're in a very short part of the movie. Like, I think 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, they're dealing with consequences, and that was it. The rest of the movie, they're just living it up and everything's cool. That was my big problem with it, but I would recommend a watch, but not on the big screen.
So that's the recommendation side. If that sounds like a movie for you, go watch it. Don't let us spoil anything else about it. We have talked a little bit more about the plot than we usually would, but it's kind of important with this to give you an idea of what you're getting into. So moving into spoilers, you said that the repercussions were only about 15 minutes. I felt like that was the last 2/3 of the movie. They were dealing with, first it was let's go back to Lollapalooza because we all wanted to go. Then it was, I'm going to go back to Lollapalooza because I didn't say the right thing to get the girl to like me. And then it was, somehow by going to Lollapalooza, we blew up a plane and we did a bunch of stuff, so now we have to go back again. And there's the stuff that they do with the group, which I think, while the group is together, the movie is a lot stronger.
Definitely.
When the kid starts doing stuff on his own, like outside of the group or against the group or whatever you want to call it, it really falls apart. And for me, it falls apart because, yes, I know people that are selfish, but there is nothing about that character up before that point to lead me to believe that he was going to be selfish like that.
Yeah.
And it made him unlikable. And because I didn't like him, I didn't care about him anymore. And there was nobody else in the movie for me to follow or root for, so I completely lost my interest in it.
Yeah,
I can understand.
Like,
that.
he didn't deserve to end up with Jesse. He didn't deserve to... Like, the ending is a complete slap in the face, because he basically goes back and tells his dad, like, you have to disappear for the reality to catch back up and everything. And then instead, he goes and talks to her, like, that first time at the lunchroom.
And remembers everything still.
But, like, she doesn't, and he's, like, making his move, like, I'm going to be confident and, talk to her and all this kind of stuff. And then he does the whole, like, wink at the camera and it's over. And I was just like, no.
Not done.
F this guy. Not interested.
While I agree he's an irredeemable character, I just really enjoyed how the story played out. I thought the ending was kind of weak, but I really enjoyed his confrontation with his father. Mm-hmm. How that played out, and him realizing the reason he started this was to go back and save his father, and because of his decisions that he's made along the way, he's basically like, well, damn, now I'm going to have to let my father die so I can set everything right, because I can't change anything. I've got to stop this all from happening. And I thought that was a really, really well performed scene.
Yeah, I felt like the conflict was in a weird place.
Mm-hmm. I really like the build-up of the movie. I like the part where they're developing the machine and figuring out what works. I really enjoyed that part up until Lollapalooza, and then the end just kind of fell off for me. I didn't really enjoy the conflict. I didn't understand, like, why do you have to do all this stuff when you're the smartest person in the group, and you know that you can't affect one thing and another thing not happening.
Well, and part of the way that they tell, like, the narrative of the movie or the editing of the movie makes it so that it's not always clear what, like, how much time has passed between scenes, or if we're looking at the past or we're looking at the future, or what we're looking at. And so for a while I wasn't sure, but then it kind of caught up, like, oh, he's messing with stuff all by himself. And then they have the scene where he flat out tells Adam, I think is the kid's name, that
He did it.
he's gone back, and he's gone back more than once, and, you know, stay back, and I'm going to go back again. And that's when his last trip was to get with Jesse, and then Adam and the kid with, like, no pigment in his skin tell him that, like, the plane crashed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
See, what I liked about it, one of my favorite things about the entire movie is when he was going back, it was more based on the fact that he was the smartest one in the group. He was being cocky about it. He's like, I can fix this.
See, he wasn't, though. He wasn't being cocky.
He was being selfish.
He was being selfish.
He was?
But he was scared, too. That was the thing. Like, he was like, oh, I've got to go back and fix this. I got to solve this. And it was like, no. Like, talk to the other 4 people that know about this.
Yeah.
He was I can have my cake and eat it too. He was very much I can fix this. I can.
But
if I kill them and I bring them into it.
But here's what's broken about that. If he's confident enough that he can just do whatever he wants and go back in time and fix whatever he wants. If the thing that he's trying to fix is his relationship with Jesse, then he should be cocky enough to walk up to Jesse and go, hey, I'm into you.
No, I agree.
And that never happened. It's not like she went, whoa, I'm not interested in you. You're a jerk. You know, you didn't even talk to me at Lollapalooza. It's like he's watching the video and he goes, oh, I missed an opportunity there. I need to go back and fix that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just pick up the phone. Like, she's been at your house every day for the last 6 months. Like, why do you need the time machine to fix this?
Yeah.
Like,
there's other little things.
Well, there was a scene that happened while you were out of the theater where he talks to her and basically says a bunch of stupid stuff. He tries to have that conversation with her, like, hey, I'm into you. And he completely screws it up, and that's when he decides he has to go back in time and fix it.
But it was too far gone. I mean, if he was already cocky enough about his skills and what he could do, he should have said it then. After Lollapalooza, and like, hey, let's go forward. Let's enjoy and have our fun. But let me tell you up front, I'm into you. I'm interested.
He tried to, and he failed miserably.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have to go back to one event to get back into that avenue.
If you know people like that, like, you could be like, oh wow, that makes complete and perfect sense.
but then he doesn't have an arc at all. Because at the end of the movie, he's exactly the same as he was when he was jacking with the time machine.
Yeah.
He just stopped jacking with the time machine.
Yeah.
I think
the ending made everything else not make sense. Really. his characterization to me nothing makes sense. Because up until that point, everything made sense in the way he acted, because I know people like that, and it completely made sense to me. And then at the end, where he's all of a sudden, he's confident without the knowledge that he's done all this stuff. That was kind of like, well, you know, if he was this confident the entire time, why didn't he?
There's so many better ways that could have been done, though.
Yeah.
Like, she could have ended up with one of the other guys. And he could have decided he was irritated about that and gone back and made it so that it was him that she ended up with.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many better ways that they could have done that story.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but like, there's so many like editing issues within that movie. Like, really, like a lot of editing issues. Like, as he's walking and talking, 1 minute he has the backpack. Then they walk a little bit further in the wall. There's no backpack. Then he walks a little bit further. There's a backpack. And then there's actual scene where they kind of move him in the same spot, but then cut it and then tape over. And like, I don't know if I was the only one that saw that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of issues there.
bad.
I think the baby from American Sniper was in charge of continuity on this.
Oh my god.
Because there's another scene that was really funny from a like technical perspective where he stands in front of a mirror and you're seeing him seeing himself in the mirror because he's got a camera on, except the camera is on
It's
like the
backward.
strap of his backpack and it's pointing like this way.
Yeah.
So it's like weird.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get your camera to shoot at a 45-degree angle?
I don't know. They were just. I think at the time that I saw the editing, the issues there, it's just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't watch anymore. I can't really enjoy this.
Y'all are just both haters.
It was no
It just-
Mordecai,
it
but it was
got-
pretty
it got
bad.
It
worse.
was no Mordecai. It was no. It wasn't Mordecai. At least it wasn't Mordecai.
Yes. Well, that is our review of Project Almanac. If you like the way we do these, please like the video, subscribe, check out our Patreon page where you can get exclusive content from us every month, and for all the video and written reviews that we do of movies every week, check out dalemaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.